after 30 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries, how would you describe the bilateral relation between the two countries?
Well, I'm happy to share with you that, we have a great friendship with China. That's how I would put it. Great development partnership based on the bedrock, and I like calling it bedrock because it's a solid bedrock of one China policy. China has no hesitation in saying we recognize you as a sovereign nation. And so with that mutual respect that is extended from China to Micronesia, we kept that loyalty on that one China policy up to this day. We have deepened the mutual respect and trust between these two countries, China and Micronesia.
But some media reports in the West have been describing China's involvement with Pacific Island countries as a kind of power grab with Western countries. What do you make of that?
Well, I can speak of our experience. The 30 years of experience with China through our diplomatic relations, I can only say that China deeply respects and values the sovereignty of our country. And speaking on that basis, I can tell you that we've enjoyed a very cooperative relations and productive bilateral partnership with China. I know there's competition in the world, but in terms of our China relationship, I would make it to say that it's been very peaceful. So we promote peace, and the way I see China through the leadership of President Xi, I deeply respect his demeanor, and that is promoting peace and friendship around the world. And I encourage all countries to be like that.
Mm-hmm. So I think no person is in a better position as you to judge whether China is pursuing a dad trap diplomacy with Pacific Island countries, because some media reports would point out that China is spending and investing in, quote, useless infrastructure projects in the South Pacific. Is that the case?
China has helped our country over the 30 years of development partnership. And so when I see that there's no debt trap with Micronesia, I think that that's China's goodwill, that they're out there to help small countries like ours in the Pacific, to help the improvement of our livelihood. And that's been the case with our country.
Chinese President Xi Jinping met with the leaders and officials from 8 Pacific Island countries last year in the capital of Papua New Guinea. Correct. And that's when he put forward a 4-point proposal concerning how to deep relations with those countries. And I quote, firstly is to treat one another as equals and deepen political mutual trust. And secondly is to stick to the mutually beneficial cooperation for common prosperity and to increase the friendship among the peoples. And fourthly, last but not least, is to safeguard fairness and justice. How do you make of those proposals?
Well, I thank President Xi for bringing those proposals to the Pacific Island countries. I can only say that our relationship with China has been very productive, cooperative in every sense that you can imagine, of two countries that respects the mutual interest of other country and respects the internal affairs of our two respective countries, our sovereignty. And FSM or Micronesia will continue to build upon that, in the context of bilateral, regional and international basis cooperating with China.
Well, this year, the Solomon Islands established diplomatic relations with China, and Kiribati resumed diplomatic relations with China. As one of the important players in the region, how do you look at this development?
Well, I can look at it from the development of our own relationship with China. Over the years, of 30 years of diplomatic relations, we've enjoyed very productive, fruitful relations with China. Based on our relationship, I think those two countries are going to enjoy their friendship and relationship with China as we have over the last 30 years.